Hey, child. It's 1:44, August 15th, 2017. Your mom is working technically right now. She figured it'd be good to go in today because she's working and she's having contractions. Driving now to the hospital because she's about to see if you're coming soon. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm ready to meet you. It's been a long journey. 9 months. We talked about you forever before then. So I just wanted to do a video just to capture my thoughts. I'm excited to meet you. I'm excited for you to change our lives, to change my life, to make me a better man, to make me to want to explore more so that you can know more, you can do more, you can see more, you can achieve more than any of us have ever dreamed. I want to, set an example for you so that in your life you will know what to accept and what not to accept, what to tolerate, what not to tolerate, what you're to do and what you're not to do. I want to make sure that you know who God is and how great and powerful and mighty and how much of a friend he is and how he's always there by your side. Even when dad and mom might not be there, God will always protect you. God will have your back. I'm just really ready, excited to meet you and just see what new challenges and new adventures and new excursions we'll go on because of you and with you. I know your mom is excited and she's gonna miss this time that you guys were together behind it in her belly, but it's definitely going to be fun now that I get to experience you and feel you and touch you and hold you. You was a little mean to me when you was in the belly. Sometimes in the beginning you used to kick and giggle when I was around, then after a while you started playing hide and go seek with me. So this is hopefully the beginning of our journey together. Sadly, you're stuck with me. You'll find out how crazy I am and fun I am. But I love you so much. Please go easy on mom. Don't hurt mom too much coming out. And yeah.
I just like the way that we ride. I wanna keep you around. Every single day, every night. I wanna let you know that I'm down. I just wanna keep you around. And every single day, every night, I wanna keep you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Harris Hope and Humor.
Yes, sir.
So this week we are going to share our birth story.
What y'all don't know is around exactly this moment, right now, 3 years ago, Tiara was like,
Yeah. So last week we shared our IVF story, and we're going to just fast forward to the birth story. Pregnancy was pretty normal. So I meant to remember how far apart our baby shower was to her birth.
I can edit that in.
Okay. Because the reason why I said that is because the night before the baby shower, I started having contractions. And they were starting at the same time every night. I would have a few and then it would stop. So the night before I gave birth, I had a contraction and it just felt like the same process. So, I kept my mom posted. We go to bed and it's 11 p.m. and I hear a knock on our door. And it's my mom.
I forgot about that.
And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Mom, why are you here? I was like, I am going to feel terrible if I don't have this baby. And you're drove over here this time of night. And so she felt more comfortable being there because she was worried, she didn't want the stress of trying to get to my job, which is where I delivered at. In the midst of everything happening. So we all go to bed and then I wake up for work which is only like 6 hours later. And I actually woke up to another contraction, but it actually was like right around the same time I had to get up anyway. And so we were like, what's the plan? And I was like, I'm going to work. I'm like, I was afraid to call out and not give birth. And then that would have been like one less day I would have been able to spend with
5, 9, 5, what would have been 5 days and 5 months, 49 days.
Huh?
Yeah, 6 months off or you had 3 months off? 3 months off.
I had 12 weeks off. 6 months, I wish. You wish I had 6 months off. So yeah, it would have been like one less day. So I was like, I'm going to work. So I go to work. I'm still having contractions, and I forget the name of the app that I use.
How about that?
But there was an app that we used that somebody recommended to a friend recommended to us to help time my contractions, and it would send Leon emails to help him like keep track of it. So I get to work, and of course I'm covering, and that was part of why I went to work, was because I was covering the intensive care nursery, and I was like, I know if I don't go to work, there's like not really anybody else. Not to say that I'm like so like, you know, there's no, I'm like, you can't replace me, but like there weren't enough people that were trained in that area working that day that they could just easily put into my assignment. So I get to work, and I'm like telling my friend who's also would have been covering for me had I left. I was like, I think I'm in labor, but I like don't know for sure. But I want to let you know because you're going to have to take over if this happens. So my boss finds out, and she calls me, and she's like, I'm 38 weeks and 4 days. She calls me, and she's like, you're not getting out of this evaluation. Like, it was time to do like our yearly evaluations for work. And she's like, you're not getting out of this evaluation. Like, get up here. Let's do this now. Like, just in case. So I'm sitting in there, like, doing my yearly evaluation. And I'm, like, timing my contractions. And I'm like, I'm not ignoring you. I am paying attention. I promise. I was like, I'm timing them. And I don't even know what time it was that I finally was like, I think this is it.
I was on the toilet taking a dump.
Oh yeah. You was like, let me get this out the way, because that takes hours.
That's why I'm so mad about it, because she went to work, and I'm like, all right, she's at work. I trust her opinion. If she thinks she can go to work, let me do this, because that means the kid coming either today, tomorrow, or someday soon. Let me try to get this out the way, because I'm not pooping in the hospital. Y'all can push that away.
So they would have had everything you needed.
Oh, right. Yeah, bedpan. So I'm on the toilet looking at the contractions. And then I get a text. I'm heading down to labor and delivery.
Did I say that?
You said, I don't know what you said. I apologize. I got receipts, fellas, or people. I got the receipt. I'll find it. I'll dig it up. I don't remember exactly what you said, but I knew it was time.
I think you asked me if you should head in. I think you end up asking me if you should head in, and I was like, yeah, I think you probably should. And I was like, can you stop and get...
Yeah, I know. I remember that too, yeah.
I asked him to stop and get my coworker a hoagie. And only because when you work 12-hour shifts and you have somebody who's like making sure that you are getting through these shifts, and like he looked out. He was willing to take whatever assignment that I had that was overwhelming, like covering the emergency room. You don't know how many times you're going to get called, like how crazy it's going to be. It's a little bit harder to like predict your day. And so he did that a lot for me. And so I was like extremely grateful that I was like, if I could, I would love to surprise him with the hoagie the day that it's time to have this baby. And so I had Leon go and get him a hoagie before he came to the hospital. So the day is progressing, and then we had a 24-week baby being born, and I was like, okay, once this baby comes, I'm done. Like, that was like the hardest thing of the day that I knew needed to happen. And I had my friend ready to go, and I'm like, once this happens, like, I'll clock out, you can take over, and I'm gonna go and be in labor, like in a room, not on the clock. trying to ignore people. People were talking to me. Somebody was like, "You seem different today." I was like, "No, I'm fine." And I'm just sitting there like, I'm like in the back in the equipment area, walking back and forth. I'm pacing, and I'm like reminding myself that I'm like, your body is made to do this. Like, you can do this. And I'm like talking to myself, and I'm just like in my own world, hoping nobody noticed that I was in labor, because they like my manager wanted to send me home, and I was like, what am I going to go home for? I'm having my baby here. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna make my husband come here, pick me up to take me home for us to have to come back when it's time to have this baby.
Because that was the time I was still taking her back and forth to work.
Yes. So, of course, the C-section for this 24-weeker is like an hour late. And I am like getting extremely uncomfortable. So we get everything, we start setting up for this delivery. And, you know, because this kid is so small, you never know what's going to happen, like how much work you're going to need to do. You know, the assumption is already there that like this kid's going to end up intubated, a breathing tube's going to get put in, this kid's going to go on a ventilator, and you know, it's just going to be a lot that needs to happen to like get this kid stable. And so it's time to finally do the C-section. Leon, my mom, and my sister are in the parking garage, because they're like, we're here. And I was like, I don't have a room. I'm still on the clock. Like, I didn't even know what to tell them. Where were y'all going to go? I was like, I promise. I'm almost done working. So that my coworker comes down and she's like, all right, I'm going to go in. And I was like, I feel bad having you go into this delivery for me. I was like, I feel like I should go. And she's like, I'm almost certain they don't want your water to break on their sterile floor. And I was like, oh, that's a good point. So now I'm like, I'll just be right here in the hallway. Anything that you think you need, I'll just be like the runner. I'll just like grab stuff. You know what running I did? I was pacing back and forth through my contractions. By the time she popped her head out that she needed something, she couldn't even find me because I was pacing back and forth through my contractions. All the labor and delivery nurses, the OB doctor that was doing the C-section, they were all like, are you okay? They were worried about me, and I was like, I promise y'all, as soon as we get done doing this, I'm coming over. They thought I was joking. Like, they literally thought I was joking. So the kid is delivered. We go back to the intensive care nursery. We're getting everything situated. And now that it's not a secret anymore, everybody knows I'm in labor. And the labor and delivery nurses are like, and I think it was the OB that looked at me and was like, I'm worried about you. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm in labor, and I'm going to go there next. Like, I just wanted to make sure this kid was okay, and like this went well, and I'm headed over there. One of the doctors, who no longer works for our organization, thank God, he's like, what's going on? And all of the nurses are like, we think Tiara's in labor. Well, no, they said Tiara's in labor, and he says, she's not in labor. I've seen people in labor. She's not screaming. People in labor are screaming. And I looked at him and I was like, call it what you want. So I finally clock out. And this is probably like 3 o'clock. No, maybe like 3 o'clock-ish.
2:30-ish.
2:30-ish. I clock out literally, no exaggeration, labor and delivery is next door to where I was. So I call my doctor's office. I'm like, my contractions are this many minutes apart. I'm already at Bryn Mawr Hospital. They tell me what doctor is covering. I'm like, I'm literally walking over there right now. So by the time I even got there, they were like still getting the call from my doctor's office that I was coming in, even though I had just saw them at another delivery. And I was like, I promise y'all. And they were like, oh, you were serious. No, I was dead serious that I was coming over here. And finally, Leon and my mom and my sister come up from
The lobby.
From the lobby. I go into the room. The nurse does all of my like intake paperwork, asks me all of the necessary questions. The OB doctor comes in. She sees that I was 3 centimeters at the time, I think, somewhere around there. And she says, it'll be another 12 hours probably before you have this baby. It's your first baby. I'm her only patient. Like, literally, I think it was probably like maybe one other person in labor, but they were covered by another like group of doctors. I'm her only patient. And I'm like, okay. She breaks my water, doesn't tell me she broke my water. And I didn't, and somebody said to me the other day, how did you not know they broke your water? Like, you didn't notice the difference. And I honestly did not notice the difference in, like, the pressure or anything.
Hey, so my mom, it was 12 hours. I was texting my mom, letting her know, like, the doctor said 12 hours.
We got time. And I'm like finishing everything, and we're sitting there, and I was like, I feel like I need to push. I was like, I'm so uncomfortable. And now I'm crying because I'm thinking in my head, if I have to go 12 more hours feeling like this, I'm going to end up getting an epidural because I really wanted to go natural. My goal, my entire pregnancy was to go without an epidural. So now I'm crying because I'm like, I can't do this for another 12 hours. So now I'm like, okay, well, let me get out of bed, because when I was working and walking around, it didn't feel this bad, because of course I also didn't know she broke my water, and that was part of why they were like way more intense than they were prior.
Then I just gotta put a filter on it.
Oh, it's been through a lot.
No, I'm not gonna look up.
I wish I could record the sound of us all.
This came along for another 12 hours. She got the money. Girl, what did Keisha do?
I get up, I literally am in the room, I do one full circle between like the counter and the bed, and I'm like, I feel like I need to push. And I'm like, my sister's like, you can't. I'm like, how am I supposed to like hold this in? This feels uncomfortable. The nurse comes in and she says, oh, I can check you again. And she goes to check me, and I'm 8 centimeters. Like, just that fast, I'm 8 centimeters. And she's like, oh, well, we can get ready to start pushing. And I was like, really? We can? And now they're trying to find the doctor. Can't find her. Did you realize they couldn't find her?
I remember that. Now that I remember.
Couldn't find. Did they over her pager?
Yeah. She was missing in action, G.
Yeah.
She went on the break. She went to the wall. She's like, I got time. She was gone. So now they're setting up the room, and like setting up the room fast. Setting up.
And they're getting my legs up in the stirrups.
It happened so fast.
And the nurse looks at me. She looks at the clock and she says, do you think we can do this by 4:15? And it's 4 o'clock. I looked up and I said, I hope so. And she said, all right, well, we can start pushing. My mom is on, no, my sister's on one side.
Sister was on this side. Kiana was on this side.
No, you was on this side.
Me and Kiana was on this side.
Oh, y'all was together on the same side?
Kiana was on the same side, because I was recording kind of too. So me and Kiana was on this side.
Oh, right.
I was on that side. I was there.
And mom was pacing back and forth too. That's why I don't remember her being on the side, because I remember her pacing and praying.
She was over that side. That's all I know.
Sorry. We're outside. I think they noticed we was outside. She was like speaking in tongues, praying, pacing. I hear her on the side of me, like doing all of the things that like I'm used to her doing. It's totally fine. And I start pushing, and I think I pushed 4, maybe 5 times.
Yeah, I don't know. You got that. I don't know that part.
One of them was a bad push, and I knew it was a bad. I felt it when I did it. I was like, this one sucked. This baby ain't coming out off this push. And Leon says to me before she comes out, he says, this baby got a head full of hair. I think it's a girl. No, he said, babe, I think this is a girl. This baby got a head full of hair.
Heart broke.
And I said, sorry. No, I didn't say sorry then. I was like, okay. And I think in my mind, I was like, huh? What does a head full of hair have to do with the sex of the baby? It could be a boy with a head full of hair. And so, 4:13, I gave birth to Noelle Charlene Harris.
Sorry, honey. They're gonna put that one.
Oh my God.
Let me just see. Still pulsing. Okay, put it on there now.
Yeah.
Wait, she was like 6.
She was 6 pounds 12 ounces.
Yeah, we can say like 6.
Yeah. She came out crying. She came out beautiful. I forgot that. Well, first of all, the funny part was I forgot how to breathe in labor. I remember my sister being like, "Breathe," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing." I was like, "Oh yeah."
So like, you can't record in labor no more.
Well, cause all the personnel, like you gotta like.
I mean, I still got the birth of my baby. I'm a chick. I know how to record. Nobody know how to record. But you're not supposed to.
You're not allowed to record anymore or like take pictures and stuff. It's kind of sad.
It's corny.
Yeah.
I get it, because after she was born, I had to cut the camera.
It was a lot going on. And they still wasn't set up.
What happened afterwards, I'm scarred. I can't even hear a TV show of somebody giving birth because I'm scarred. I'm done. That's mostly why I don't have a kid. I don't want to see that happen to my wife again.
It was terrible in the moment. If I was planning on having another one, I would do it again. But I'm not, because I'm not having any more. But yeah, so I had Noelle, Charlene on a Thursday, I think.
Yeah, that's what I don't know either.
At 4:13 in the afternoon. And it was a beautiful experience. And that's what I was going to say. I forgot that we didn't know we were having. So the nurse said, "What's her name?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah." Because nobody knew it was going to be a girl. Oh, that's when I remember my mom going off in tongues. And because she was so excited that it was a girl. We all the rest of us wanted it to be a girl. And that's when I looked at Leanne. I was like, "Sorry." Because he was the only one that wanted to be.
Yeah, I still got my boo. She beat me up. It's so rough. So much fun. Got the best of both worlds. I'm on it.
And so back in the NICU, because at that time when we gave birth, not that it was super long ago, she's only going on 3. They would play the lullaby throughout the hospital, so everybody would know that a baby was just born. So the lullaby goes off, and my friend, I won't say her name, my friend says to the doctor who said to me I wasn't in labor, she said, "Hey, do you hear that? That's Tiara having her baby." And he's like, "Oh, I guess she was in labor." And she told him he owed me an apology. He claimed he was going to give me one, and he did not. But she did come and see us. And she gave me a hug, and then she went back to work.
Yeah.
And so now we are the proud parents of a beautiful baby girl who is flourishing and growing straight up.
Taller than me almost. Almost taller than her daddy in the wheelchair.
Yeah, so to follow that everything was pretty okay. My iron levels were low, so my first time finally getting up, I got lightheaded, so I had to get an iron transfusion before I left. Because they already kind of realized I was anemic before I gave birth, but it ended up being it was a little too late for them to give me enough iron before I gave birth for it to have been enough. So, yeah.
All the world, the first bath went well.
Oh yeah, you saw that video?
Yes, I got that video somewhere. But I got it. I'll send you the clip.
Yeah, so that's the birth of our baby. Anything for you that was difficult or easy, given your situation that you thought would have been?
No, that's true. I did not shop. No, remember we wanted for a long time we wanted to do it at the birth center. And I'm so glad we did not do it at the birth center. Because the birth center was like a holistic place to have your baby. You kind of get your choice of where you want to have your baby at, right? Like you can have it in the tub or something like that.
Yeah.
There.
So you can be a believer in the tub and then you get out to deliver.
They send you home right after you have the baby.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that didn't happen because I don't know how I would have managed. So we stayed at the hospital for 2 days, 3 days. They gave me my own little cot. Got to go ransack I almost had a baby just so I could ransack the snack joint.
It wasn't actually a cot. He had a whole nother. He had a whole bed, a hospital bed.
But no, I don't know. At that time, it was chill.
But you kind of saw why I wanted to have it at the birth center. Like, you saw the difference in, like, that home feel. Yeah, the birth center, like a house almost.
Yeah, it was very hospital. It was very hospital. Yeah, I'm used to hospital. It was very a hospital
like environment. Yeah. But it worked out for the best because I needed more than what they would have been able to give me, given the fact that my iron level went so well.
Yeah, that would have been a really scary time. You know, my wife and the baby at that time I had. But no, I think other than that, it was good. It was a good experience. I enjoyed it. I'm very happy I watched the birth myself. No, I wouldn't do it again. C'est la vie.
We'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Stay hopeful.